The power of intention in acting. Benefits. Now, let's talk about all the pains you can now forget for good with the power of intention in acting. This video is about what we don't want in our acting mastery development. It's also about what this masterclass will help you avoid, and it is about how to maximize the benefits of the power of intention in acting. So let's get to it. Let me tell you why is this one of my most efficient acting mastery tools to be used at an early stage and to really master at the beginning of your training, or even if you are an experienced actor now but you don't know about the power of intention. You really need to get this so that your acting mastery and your acting practice and your talents, your abilities and skills will absolutely maximize. The reason why this technique used in acting, power of intention, it's one of the absolute best, is that there's so many pains, fears, frustrations that you can actually learn to leave behind, to kiss goodbye for good. This is a technique and a method that you need to start using from the beginning, and even at the beginning of your acting career and your career in acting, your training. Even if you are an experienced actor and you don't know anything about the power of intention, this class is going to really benefit you and actually help you improve your expression, your creative expression as an actor. And you will discover how so many of the pains, fears, frustrations, and all those things we face as actors are so easily solved with the power of intention. The reason why this is one of the most efficient and effective acting master tools is because it helps us kiss goodbye, really, for good, all of the pains and fears and frustrations that we often face on stage or in front of the camera as actors and actresses. For example, now with the power of intention in acting, you can forget for good performances that are stale, repetitive, dry, or energyless. This is something you can achieve with the power of intention, even if you're an experienced actor who doesn't know anything about the intention and how to apply it to your acting. This will actually shock you and will help you really maximize your skills and abilities. Next, the feeling and the sensation of eating away at your confidence with every repetition. Does that sound familiar? Yeah? So that will also vanish. The feeling when you are doing a performance and you feel it a little bit less every time you repeat it. It has a little less life every time you do it. It feels a little bit less right every time you repeat. So, with the power of intention, you actually create fresh and anew every single time you're up, regardless of how many times you've done the same piece. Also, one of the things that this is absolutely fantastic for is the fact that you are able to turn inexperience and lack of practice into acting mastery, because you grow and you expand every time you use this principle in your rehearsals and in your coaching sessions. So all of those will count as experience. Then also, you know what happens when you're stuck with a character or a scene? When you are disconnected, as it were, from continuing to develop the role. You don't have ways into how to get what you want out of the character, the scene, and how to get the experience you want. So, this is also to be solved with the power of intention. When you don't use the power of intention or the techniques I am going to actually show you, or any technique that allows you to approach acting mastery in a heart-driven manner and not a head-driven way, then this happens. You quickly get stuck with the character because the mind can only do so much. And to be honest, the mind is not that efficient when it comes to creativity, not at all. So, when this happens, when you are stuck, you're unable to let go on a stage, you feel at an ease. So, in order to feel at ease and in charge of your performance, it is so important that you learn to use these techniques so that you're not unable to enjoy the practice fully due to uncertainty and lack of confidence. Yes, this is what happens to many of us. The constant feel of inadequacy on a stage due to overthinking and doubting yourself while performing. All this can be solved and will be solved for you with the power of intention in acting. The experience of this sheer lack of direction, lack of purpose, lack of intention. All of this lacks can translate into freezing on stage, self-criticism on stage, the horrible feeling of being judged by the audience, feeling embarrassed with your role, or feeling shy about your acting. Yes. We've all been there. The fact that we don't talk about it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It happens. And it's never addressed. But this, the power of intention, solves it all. As it is, most actors, including many A-list actors, conclude their training at a very low level of acting mastery, and then they need to rely on gaining experience by booking jobs to grow. even then they can never grow fully because their training is not intentional. They are just going along with emotions from what they get or not get to work on. So, yet, they most of the time do this without guidance, and many do it without knowledge, simply because they didn't have access to advanced training. No one taught them, or they didn't realize that they weren't doing it right. No one teaches the ways of achieving beyond the basics in acting, and there is so much that can be improved. The other thing that might happen when you don't use the power of intention, when you're not correctly trained, is that you experience a delay between the moment you step into the scene and the moment you feel that you're finally into the scene and in character. So you never feel fully ready before you start. And this also goes away with the power of intention. The next thing is the outcome of your performances. They're normally random. If you don't have this control, this intention, this purpose, instead of seeing progressive growth every time you're up acting, you see that your performances are good or bad, depending on who knows what. Whereas with the power of intention, your performances are always at the peak of your creativity, passionate, expansive, and limitless in potential and possibilities. The outcome is always sheer delight for you and for your audience. You now have a consistent way to feel ready and confident from the start of your performances, feeling that your success is not up to luck, but up to your enjoyment. The power of intention is transformational for the actor. The power of intention is energy. Intention flows. Intention is formless, shapeless energy that tackles limitless possibilities. It stays unformed, yet it brings in more energy. The power of intention is like the invisible touch that makes everything possible. The power of intention touches hearts and minds. It shapes characters, roles, scenes, stories. It gives purpose and meaning, and it bows down to your every desire. With the power of intention, we can see our talents and artistic drive transform into everlasting expression, expansion, and creation. So let's recap everything you gain and all the benefits you get from the power of intention. First of all, it's important to learn that it is a very effective and intrinsically important method, technique, principle to use in your life and in your art. You gain limitless creative freedom in your performances, even when you are inexperienced and work on the same piece multiple times. You learn to have the ability always to create afresh and anew on a stage. Kiss the stale and stagnant performances goodbye for good. You can always predict your good next grand performance with absolute confidence and certainty, because now you're not letting anything up to luck, mood, circumstances. You are directing the energy of your performance. You are using the energy of intention to get exactly what you want. So you learn about your guaranteed path towards acting mastery with this simple principle, which I have transformed into an acting mastery technique. You forget relying on good luck or random circumstances to achieve mastery progressively every time you're up. You transform your inexperience into maturity because you practice this principle every single time you rehearse or you are in a training coaching session. The single most significant mistake most actors and actresses make is thinking, overthinking, thinking more about everything they learn. The main thing really to progress is to just use your mind and brain to acquire the knowledge, but then to practice, you need to practice with your heart. So, with this technique, you will learn to quit doubting and overthinking on a stage. You will discover the single obstacle stopping you from achieving your acting career dreams. And it is very simple, again related to the power of intention. You also get to understand how you can actually be character ready, warmed up, and in just ready to go in the scene, in climax, just right before you step into your scene, as opposed to feeling finally ready when you are a few minutes into the scene. You learn to let go on the stage and enjoy the performance for you, because it is really about you and being confident on stage. It's not just about who you are or how you're feeling. There is so much more to it, and the power of intention has a big say in it. So you learn how you can direct your performances to move your audience's hearts and minds and to evoke whatever emotions you desire for them to experience. And finally, and coming up next, you're going to learn 6 of my favorite methods to actually apply the power of intention in acting. So I shall see you on the next video.